politics dressed as comedy. Who's outraged? Who's doubling down? The GGHOP is here to turn it all around with an ancient idea called having fun. Sounds a little scary, stick around, don't run. In the next 60 minutes, begging you to try. Open up your echo chamber and ditch your tribe. There's just one mission by which we're led, to put a big fat smile upon your head. The song is almost done, time to stop the show, but there might be something left that you'd like to know. What's GGHOP mean? It's your right to ask. The guaranteed, genuine, honest to goodness 1 hour podcast. Good morning. It is Friday, February 16th. You're tuned to the GGHOP, the guaranteed, genuine, honest to goodness 1 hour podcast. All sponsored by Wilson Farm Market, fry pies, cheese. James, we ever talk about these guys?
It's all right.
Once in a while, have we ever mention them? Okay.
I mean, if you want to make the drive.
Yeah, you know. You had the chicken a couple weeks ago, and you said?
It was mediocre.
Yeah. No, I think he said... he said, fuck the colonel.
No, I said, fuck the colonel.
Fuck the colonel.
That's fantastic.
He's done. He's done. You've changed him. So let's see. We usually don't do that. Let's see.
No,
so
that's called a roast.
There we go.
Yeah.
We've got, I'm your host, Bill Gant, along with James Swinford.
Good morning.
Karen Haynes. And joining us today, the one, the only, the benefactor, Scott Wilson from Wilson Farm Market. Woo!
Good or bad, either way.
Woo! All right, we're also sponsored by Frankfurt Beer Works.
Frankfurt Beer Works.
And we're broadcasting live from the tap room of Frankfurt Beer Works in the middle of the Christian Ridge Historic District. Well, welcome. You're here.
I am here.
Let's do this. What do you think? Pretty good setup?
Bitchin'.
All right.
I think it's great. That's what you walk in and you're like...
Got a good host.
Or hosts.
So just to let you know, we've still got the Fry Pie February going on. All you have to do is follow us on Instagram. Nope, not Instagram.
You haven't got Instagram?
On X. We're getting there.
Yeah.
One at a time. We've got X. You can pre-follow us on Facebook because we've got a special video we're going to put up hopefully tomorrow after Scott looks at it because he might drop all sponsorship after he sees it.
hell.
Then also you could follow us on YouTube and Rumble as well. That gets you in for the prize drawings. And our last person we couldn't get a hold of, so Monday we're drawing it.
All right.
We're gonna draw one for last
Oh, a
month.
winner you couldn't get a hold of.
Got a winner. He just sent it a PO box. We cover his loss.
He's giving
That's
it
right.
to the
His
poor.
damn loss. And now we also have a thing on here. Now, now have you, Scott? Now you sponsor the show. Have you ever been able to watch it?
Just
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're doing that for charity. You know, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah?
And that was for Coach Kids. And I think it's somebody you said you knew who runs it.
that's probably true.
Okay. Well, yeah. I didn't know if it was like
I mean,
some
it-
kind of.
yeah,
Did you ever go to
probably
I bet
was.
you went to the prom.
Probably once.
Of course you went.
I'm antisocial in a lot of regards.
No. So, but we have a little we have a thing we've been doing since the beginning. When we're going to let the people vote, and we're going to decide what. So, you know, he's James over here. If you've ever watched the show, and then
Maybe what needs to be the long loaf of pretzel bread.
I told him pickle loaf.
oh yeah,
Just for the comedic.
something like the size of a pickle wedge. You know,
Half an oatmeal cream
that'll
pie.
cover us. So, if you'd like to see us dressed in his food, please keep following and keep watching. We appreciate it. Well, you can. These are people that you should know. It shouldn't be too hard. But I will say, and I've got to remind James this. Please wait until the end to make your guesses.
That's right.
Oh, it just steals your
steals
thunder.
my thunder.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
But that's good. He's on point. He's ready. Karen, you ready?
I'm trying.
Okay. All right. So here we go. First one. Just a little icebreaker game. Then we'll talk about Scott. I think he's got a couple things he might like to talk about.
All right.
Yeah. We'll have to pull it out of him probably. So, always a bridesmaid, yet never a bride. It's tough being a sidekick to Corolla and Stein. I've got a big heart, and that's clear to be seen. Go die in the woods if you don't take a vaccine. To a predictable, lazy, old-fashioned template I've held, which places me squarely in third place behind the leader, Gutfeld. Social justice, I scream from my paper throne. Oh, wait, the phone's ringing. Who is it? Carl Malone. You have any idea who that is?
Just you call Malone.
Yeah, you know who it is? Do you have any idea? Who this from this?
No.
Do you have a guess?
No guesses.
James, tell him it is.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, the great Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
He's
Yeah.
a special one.
He used to be
He's
cool.
very special. He did used to be a lot of fun.
There was a
cool.
time where he was fun.
Dude,
Like
the
when
Man
he-
Show, he was fun.
Like-
Adam.
Back in the day, like, you know, it's always weird how some of those comedians completely go some different tangent you didn't think they'd be on back in the day.
know.
Like Dennis Miller used to be completely different.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of those guys, it's kind of weird.
Dennis Miller, I love Dennis Miller, and I liked him because, I mean, he did political stuff, whatever, but he always did both sides. And He
Yeah.
was just having fun.
He seemed more like libertarian in the middle kind of guy.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And then, you know, when this woke stuff came, like he hid and ran away. And then I saw him, like now he has a show, I think on Fox, like thing about commercials, like how like infomercials, like ShamWow and stuff like that. But man, he was on like the Gutfeld show, and I told you, I mean, he's like an FTD bouquet. I mean, he was like broken. He was like, I don't know about
Really?
this
Yeah, 'cause
country. I don't see any way out. I'm just
Kind of-
depressed. I'm like, dude, whoa,
He
Yeah,
always
'cause
used to be
brother,
jacked, you know?
brother.
it's like comedians lost their ability to be funny
Yeah.
Yeah.
for,
And they
for
got
fear
scared.
of getting just demolished and canceled
yeah.
over. I mean, we're seeing. I think you see some of it coming back, but
It's totally changing. It's
I think the climate's changing. Like it's okay to be funny and it's okay to make fun of everybody. It's all
they're
right.
jokes.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
yeah,
just for
it's a
fun.
joke. Don't be
None
so
of this
fragile.
is serious. Cool out.
Saying terrible shit makes people laugh. It's funny.
It does. And it makes you laugh. Laughing is good. Well, there you go. You're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Try not to win it. Let him win
I'm
some
gonna let
shit.
everybody
I'm
get their
throwing.
Let the
answers.
guests
Either
win
way.
some shit.
Yeah, let the answers win. Let them-
Okay. Oh, this is good. Okay. I've become a shrieking Karen. It's such a shame. I used to make high school mornings fun for people like Bill, Scott, and James. Not a lefty nor a righty, no political tenor. I was right down the middle. You could call me Sports Center. Phrases and sayings that brought sports highlights alive. Then came President number 45. Half the population I shredded because I'm so woke and so clever. The frosted sports side of me, gone forever.
He's the-
My hair has gone all Ted Danson. My head an empty dump. Save one resident living rent-free, Donald J. Trump. You have any idea who that is?
Keith Olbermann.
Yes.
Bam. There we go.
He just went right off the reservation. He used to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know, man.
Yeah.
It's so much fun on Sports Center. In
That's the
morning.
best.
Sports Center,
That's
man.
the best example of what we were just talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
Literally,
right.
that's the
I mean,
best example.
he used to be a riot, and
Yeah.
I mean, you could
So
tell
much
he
fun.
he played it in the middle But man, God, he is right off the reservation.
You could tell a lot of stuff they were talking about were stuff that, like, even if you like went and hung out with them and they were having a couple beers when the show was over, that's the same shit they were going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
it just went to where it was all just, I need to tell you about the agenda.
Political. He got on MSNBC, then they dropped him. Like everywhere he's been, they like fired him because he's like hard to get along with. And I saw he's got a podcast that's been on for about a year. And I didn't listen to any, but I looked at the titles, and every single one is some Donald Trump.
Yeah, and
And
it
it's
looks-
just all,
every time
every
I-
day it's the same.
Every time I
thing.
see a clip, it looks like he's like on a balcony, and I always think like he is so unhinged, he's just going to throw himself off.
Oh, it'd be terrible. Don't jump.
Man,
Jump. They all jump. They all jump. Well done. 1-1. Karen, don't worry.
Wow.
you got to
Pull
pick
it
it up.
for you.
I got to pick it up.
Okay. I started as a stand-up so irreverent. Oh, listen. I started as a stand-up so irreverent the best, but soon traded comedy for a political nest. There's a bit of a, you see, I told an off-color joke on ABC. I sold an off-color joke, so ABC said go. Then I found a home on HBO, a place for lockstep one-sided shit, where the audience claps like seals when the applause sign is lit. But a strike hit Tinseltown full of self-absorbed fools. What would America do without my new rules? So I started a podcast where I drink whiskey and smoke grass with the fence post wedged directly up my ass. Do you know who that is?
I saw that,
Do it.
but I don't know
Tie
his
up.
name.
Just describe him. Do something. We
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
get you on the
definitely
board.
describe him.
He's saying name, anything.
I watched that one. It's not.
In the name of Alex Trebek. Sorry.
Sorry.
Anyone else? Minus 300. Yep. Tell him who it is.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Omar.
Bill Maher.
I saw that one.
He's always, he was a pretty good comedian, did politically incorrect, got kicked off
Religionist
of
was
there.
great.
And then his show's pretty good. But again, like with all these people too, the writers. I mean,
It sounds like a laugh
it's all
track.
writers. You might like him, but
Yeah.
the person
It
doing the
definitely
writing
is.
is
A lot of it is
people.
the writing side of it because
Yeah.
I think in the beginning those guys did their own stuff, so that was funny. That was them
Right.
coming through, and then you start
I
getting.
think, like as soon as you see the pie starting divvied up different.
Yep.
As
Everybody's
as
got
they
a
get
hand
in
in
there.
it, and then somebody,
Yeah.
they're under contract with somebody, and then you've got people in offices making decisions that have no humor at all.
Such as Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
It's just a
a
nasty,
trash can.
nasty place. Okay, 2-1. Still time. I think I got 3 left.
You not even give me a half point because I.
I bet you
sort
get
of
this
played?
one. I'm this. I feel this one's yours.
No, I don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
I feel
I'm-
like he had the answers beforehand.
I know.
That's what it
it's-
always feels.
You're a little more
It's-
educated than I am.
My teacher said the same shit and used to
It's
make me
like
take
the
tests
political
over
pool,
again.
you
It,
know?
it was a thing.
Poor old Uncle Joe getting the answers in the faces of who's asking him questions in the political pool.
Yeah. This is rigged. It's all rigged.
I'll behave.
You can do this.
Soros has got his hand up my ass.
That's right. You're a puppet.
We're not on the right Rumble fucking platform.
That's right. I'm a black woman journalist, of which there were few when I got my start in the time of Donahue. I covered important topics, took a live mic into the crowd. Good. Long, long way from what I do now. I was on top of the world, and that's no bunk, mostly due to me giving 90s suburbanite moms loads of junk. I started a book club so hip and so arty, which served as a great icebreaker at Jeffrey Epstein parties. Weight Watchers soon became one of my brands,
Oh no.
in hopes that more money would pass into my hands. Eating less, exercising more, things I do not, due to me finding the Ozempic shot. It's not my fault. I have a disease, just like cancer patients and people with type 1 diabetes.
Oh,
Who is it? Yeah! Karen's on the board.
Too easy. That
Karen's
was
on the
easy.
board. I know. Thank God.
That was easy.
So glad
Like first sentence, it was already
he
said.
saved that for me.
Now, see, we were going to trash
Well, we
Oprah
knew
a
it
long
was-
time ago when you were coming on. I wanted to have an Oprah one.
We knew it wasn't Sally Raphael or whatever her name was. We knew it wasn't her.
No, and it wasn't.
Ricky.
Ricky Lake. Yeah.
Ricky Lake. Oh my, that's a throw.
And it wasn't Anne from Heart. No, but when you were coming before, we had a problem. But Oprah came out and she's a Weight Watchers spokesman, but now she's taking the Ozempic thing. But then inside that article, my only problem with that, again, if you want to take that and lose weight, I'm on whatever you want to do. But then her problem was, I found out that overeating wasn't even my fault. This isn't even, I have a disease. I'm like, man, my parents died of cancer, man. I really don't appreciate that very much.
Yeah,
you know?
overeating is. I
Dude,
mean,
that's a choice, man.
Yeah.
And if you want to take that to be better, that's fine. But don't say,
don't say yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a disease, man. You got a disease.
I mean, I'm fluffy because I eat too much food.
Yeah, hey, I hear you. Look,
Yeah.
hey,
I grew up in the market. What the hell am I going to do?
you know, you got to
I
eat
can't
something.
not eat that shit.
But you have lost a tremendous amount of weight.
I have.
Sarah.
I'm trying to get down to my fighting weight.
Nice. Where is that? What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Not
how much?
what I am now. I'm getting older. I'm like the Tin Man when I get out of bed. I'm like
Do you are you a few months away from that? You think?
probably.
All right, almost there.
But I'm not going to wear a cheddar bread bikini in here under any fucking circumstances.
No.
Absolutely no shot.
You provide the funds.
I will bring you bread, but I will not wear that.
No.
No chance.
You provide the funds so we can embarrass ourselves. You don't need to be part of that. All right, we're tied up. I think there's 2 more to go. This is exciting.
Okay.
These guys have a bit of advantage. I think they have heard this one. I don't know. You might get this one. I'm a child actor from back in the 80s and have devolved into a self-centered, whiny millionaire baby. As a boy, I served under Captain Picard, but found growing up rich to be very hard. My parents, that's it, the root of my problems. I whine on a podcast, hoping Mayim Bialik will solve them. Tabletop games, I'm the king of the nerds, but most of my projects are as watchable as turds. Last week, I had a meltdown because with Elmo, Larry David got too pushy, securing my spot as Hollywood's #1 geek pussy.
I don't know.
Let him know.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. I don't know if you know who Will Wheaton is.
I've heard that name, but I'm not putting a face with it.
Used to be on Star Trek, on the TV show, and he was like a
Right.
little kid. He was in Stand By Me. You see that movie, Stand By
Oh,
Me?
right.
He's the writer boy. He's
Yeah.
that boy. He's real young, and he was again fun. He did this tabletop game show, but I guess for a few years he has had like a Twitter account that is just again Keith Olbermann style.
Yeah.
And then last week on the Today Show, they had Elmo and Elmo's dad. And then evidently a previous guest or somebody that was going to be was Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
right in Seinfeld. Well, while they're talking to Elmo, Larry comes out and just kind of like, you see, kind of like shakes Elmo a bit, like, hey there, buddy, or something like that. And then he walks away. And then this guy had a tweet that was, it's unthinkable what he did to Elmo. He
my
represents children and mental health. You're such a sick fuck. You're disgusting. I hate you. Yeah, just this whole. And then 2 hours later, then what he does, I'm really sorry for that last tweet. I probably just have a lot of emotions. You see, a lot of people don't know how and then it just becomes about him. So it's just a big thing to say, look at me. His claim is that his parents were cruel and mean to him, especially his dad. But on this podcast I saw where he's talking with the lady that hosted Jeopardy, Mayim Bialik.
Yeah.
He was listing off all these things that he had, and he goes, but much like Oprah, none of this is my fault because really my parents are just a bunch of stupid boomers and they don't understand. I mean, I have a brother and sister and they love them, but I guess one day they decided we don't like Will anymore, so fuck them. It's like
Can't be anything about him. It has to.
It's all their fault.
Yeah, it's
But
everyone else's fault.
The dad was mean to him, but the mom was the one who got him in show business and like actually steered him away from things that the other people like in Stand By Me ended up dying on.
Yeah.
She protected him from that kind of stuff in Hollywood.
They hate him.
Yeah, they hate him. He's awful. Yeah. So what a dick. Look out, you're up.
Crying
You're
from
winning.
an ivory tower.
Last one. You'll know who this is.
Never had to lift a box or drive a fucking forklift in your life. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's really it's
I
tough
say.
because he's got Well, also he was saying that how much of a tragedy his life has been or whatever. But I have. Do you remember a TV show that was on for about 2 years back in the 80s called Fridays? It was supposed to be against Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
So
right.
just for a minute or two. There's about a
Right.
year or so. This show called Fridays. You can see some on YouTube. It's awful. The first episode is great because at the beginning they're sitting around and you see people at a table like, okay, now a lot of people are going to compare us to Saturday Night Live, but we're called Fridays. We're completely different. And it's this writing table and it slowly starts to expand out. And then it's all the characters from Saturday Night Live, the bee, the sandwich shop people, and so that was kind of funny. But Larry David's on there and it's not good. It's really bad. Also, this guy he calls it general anxiety disorder. is what he said. I have this general anxiety or because of my dad now and this kind of thing. But, you know, again, if you had any knowledge of Larry David. So Larry David, when he started as a stand-up in New York, he was so neurotic. He would walk down to the comedy club. He'd be back in the green room. People would come in. Before the first comic went on, he would sneak up to the back and peek out of the curtain. And if he just didn't like how the people looked, he just went home and didn't do the set. Because he was just, no, they're not going to get it. And so, I mean, this guy worried about Elmo being the spokesperson for anxiety and whatever. Larry David has more anxiety and stress and weird than anybody.
Oh, Kramer should have done that at the Comedy Store before we went rolling airdropping the N-word.
Oh, my God. Bring Kramer on. Kramer will tell you something. I think he's come. He's bounced back.
Called
from
reading
that.
the room, Bill.
It's right. Read the room.
Sometimes you read it and it ain't your book. You need to get the fuck out.
It's also called "Don't Be a Stand-Up Comedian When You Were Never Really a Stand-Up Comedian."
Right.
And why why didn't you save that Seinfeld money?
Yeah,
why are you working?
Studio audiences don't heckle.
Good God! All right, you're in the lead. Here we go. Last one. This is it. Let the guest win, for God's sakes. We're not gonna. I am one of those special Hollywood dicks who ruined an entire comedy network with politics. With a list of writers 2 miles long, I do interviews, and thanks to Post, I'm never wrong. At Apple TV, I continued my downward slalom. Climate change and white people are obviously the problem. Now lazy TV execs bring me back like it's Y2K, but I'm a rundown old man, broken and gray.
I think some of these are too vague. It's a big swath,
Okay,
but I'm missing some of the cues, and
you're correct.
I don't know. They're terribly
no.
written. Like squirrel brain.
Whatever you say is what I agree with.
That is
Save
just
us.
Savior?
Save us.
Had a show in the 80s on MTV, or early 90s.
Yeah.
Had the one guy that had the long stringy hair that was on the movie Half Baked. That was guy on the couch that was baked on the couch
Yeah.
the whole time.
It is
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart.
okay.
John Leibowitz.
Yeah.
He changed his name. Now he just came back, and they just bring him back to Daily Show. But my thing is that, so one more person talking about politics. Good.
Once everybody else got tired of the other 4 guys talking about Trump, so they brought back a new one.
Another one to do it.
Yeah.
And I saw the videos of people like, oh boy, Jon Stewart, he's trashing on Biden and trashing on here he comes. Like, I don't care what he has to say, actually. Like, there's so many people. That's why we don't really do a lot of politics on here.
No.
We're trying to just have fun.
Because that's like the only thing people have, they've lost other humor, and that's all they have.
I
Yeah.
know it's
Yeah.
rough, and the countless, if you want to really get some views, I guess what I should have done was get in a small room and put some video games and some fun stuff behind me, put some headphones on, and just talked here, and then over here were places where you could buy my coffee or my shirts. And then over here is where I have an article that's about a 90-second read, but I turn it into a half-hour program where I just keep talking over it, and then once in a while I highlight parts of it and say it. I mean, we've all probably watched some of that stuff, but I mean, it gets old quick.
Yeah.
It's just not original anymore. I mean, and they all beat the same thing, and you look on X, and everybody's just. It's like they get marching orders. It's a weird. I mean, they might change a few words, but it's all the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
Because there used to be kind of like 4 or 5 things that were kind of pushing the agenda. Now it's just 2 sides.
It is. It is very. It is.
Yeah.
It's why it is a wild time, and you think maybe they'll pick up on it, and
Like you said, I think it's the worm's turning.
I think it's starting to.
People
I think the
have it.
pendulum's swinging back.
Yeah,
It worked
yeah.
for a while, and then they see that revenue is starting to decline, and they've got to do something else because I think it's all revenue driven when you
Yeah.
get right down to it.
Yeah. One of my favorite, I got a podcast person that I like, and he's a person that was like a lead singer in a metal band, started his own comic book company because his thing used to be a lot about like the wokeness in comics and superhero movies. And so he started his own brand. Now he's a millionaire. He's doing great. But something he said a couple of years ago about all this stuff, whether it's in Hollywood or TV shows and stuff you're trying to force down people's throats they don't want. He's like, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality.
Right.
So you can make these terrible movies and do whatever you want. You're allowed that. But then in the boardroom, when we lost $20 million on this project, it's over.
Yeah, and I
can't do it forever.
I think they're really starting to see it hit in their bank account.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely revenue is driven. When you look at I don't know that there's fringes of everything, but when you start looking at middle America out here, beating the sticks,
Yeah.
I grew up. It's a weird. I just talked about this with somebody. It's very weird when I get painted a certain way because here I am wearing square toes, and I'm driving a diesel truck. But the reality is that's just not the case. I look at every person. Every person has money to spend. Now, some people have different amounts of money they may spend or disposable income. But I just grew up that way.
Yeah.
But I've always was painted a certain way. It's that flash judgment, and everybody judges. We have this conversation. My nephew, he's just a Ball State graduate.
Yeah.
And everybody judges. To say you don't is just horse shit.
Of course we do.
Yeah. I mean, that's human nature. Yep. To say, I don't say that I don't judge, but I judge people more on, at the market, since we're the only thing out here. We used to, and this was a long running joke. We would be sitting up front and be like, they're just looking for a restroom. Cause even
you
when,
can tell.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is such a weird, we would kind of flash judge, which is just silly ass thing to judge, but we'd be like, they're not buying anything. They are looking for a pisser. Yeah. Because there's literally nothing out here, and that's not something we really have because we have the same septic my grandparents had.
Yeah.
So.
They're out front.
We try to judge.
Did that thing just move on its own?
Right. No.
It's okay. It moved. High dollar.
But everybody does, and it's a weird thing to. I mean, my nephew, he said, he come as a criminal justice major.
Okay.
And
profiling is part of your
right, and he
job.
because I mean he's a white kid, from he's a local white guy.
Yeah.
And he went and did a lot of stuff, so he's very self-aware of it, and it went into some of the inner parts of Muncie, and that's what he said. I was painted a certain way as soon as I walked in, and to say that I don't judge, everybody judges. You judge in every regard. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
You get judged. You have long hair. People have an opinion because you have longer hair.
Of course.
Do you fit the norm?
Long-haired freaky people do not apply.
Yeah.
It is a wild time, and then you look at, but it always goes back to money. You look at these ex-influencers, you look at the comedians. At the end of the day, it goes back to money.
Sure.
And there's no way that these people aren't getting paid on X when they're all spelling the same shit. It's just not possible. Yeah. There's no way that these people are not on both sides of the coin.
Sure.
On both, I'm not painted a certain way because you said libertarian. I'm probably more that way. I just don't, I don't get hung up on it.
I always say 90s libertarian so people know exactly what I'm talking about because 90s libertarians are a little bit different. It's like we thought some of Reagan shit was pretty good. We thought some of Clinton shit was pretty good, but we were kind of
100%. But people now, it's like you have to choose a team, and you can't have an opinion that's contrary to team, whichever.
Prison of two ideas.
Yeah, and it's such a weird. But I do think I'm 100%. I think the pendulum's swinging back. Where just act normal. Yeah. What? Just be normal. You don't have to be so.
Intense.
Yeah.
And angry. Everything is angry.
And pissed off about it. Really big mad about it.
That's our theme song we did. I wrote the theme song, and who's
doubling down.
Who's doubling down? Who's everything is the same. I saw one and I had to look it up, and I guess because I'm a gambler and I'd never heard of this in my life, and then I came across one about 2 months ago, and the headline was so and so triples down on. I'm like, man, ain't no fucking triple down. And I looked it up. It is a very rare thing you can do, I guess, in blackjack.
Really?
I've never heard of my life.
That's not a thing. Really?
I'm like, that's not a thing to triple down. Stop it. This person obliterated just like that's all it is. It's just to get a click.
It is.
Because then that pays and shows.
Just an extra exclamation point is all it is.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
It isn't. And now I catch myself on X and I want to respond to certain, some smart aleck comment.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, these people are getting paid. I can't do it.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't do it because they're getting paid to post. So now, like, I make a conscious effort to not, I may read a tweet or, a post, but I make a conscious effort not to, because then these people are talking about because they basically become monetized, which is awesome. I mean, Elon's doing the right thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I understand it. But then in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't help contribute to that. I can't do it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to read. And then the voices in my head are going to have opinions about what they say.
Just stay out.
Yeah.
Be a lurker.
I just stay out. I catch myself doing it all the time. Like, oh, nope, can't do it.
Yeah.
As you're talking about some of those ones that have like agendas and stuff. So like, when I used to watch, I never got into Seth Meyers. Colbert was kind of all right back when he was on the Daily Show. But I don't really care much for him. Yeah. Kimmel was kind of all right. So I never really got into him. But I used to just watch them because they were on before other shit, or I was waiting on something else to come on.
Yeah.
And there was literally one time where it was like right about midnight or something, and I'm watching one of them, and they do this joke about something. I flip it to the other one, and they do that same joke, just worded a little bit different. Flick it to the other one, it's doing the same joke, just worded a little bit different in their own way with their own graphic, but it was the same shit. They're just talking about the same shit. And they just get up. It's like they get up in the morning and look and see what the agenda is on. Like somebody just sends them a message. Here's all the shit we're
covering this, and this. Now, and it's the same writers.
Seem like you're halfway normal in the medium on these two, so then you could throw these wild cards in there at the end. Yeah,
it's the writers. I mean, they just got one-sided, and it was just boring.
But it's weird. You know, have you seen those where they clip together? You know, like local TV broadcasts, and they all are mirroring they're all saying the exact same thing, and they're not even because there's what three local news broadcasts here, but there'll be like 20 of them or 30 of them all saying the exact same shit. How in the hell is there some secret network that these guys all communicate that they get to? It's such a weird, like, how the hell does that even work? That one still really throws me.
It's so consolidated.
It is. They literally are saying the same shit, but it's partly, I suppose, again, back to money, where so many of them are owned by huge conglomerate media companies.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the only answer, really.
Your Viacoms of the world.
Yeah, you know, they're massive, you know, humongous, which I've made a conscious effort to, you know, step away from advertising with those on purpose. Yeah. You know, I go look for locally owned or do nothing.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather not help feed that animal because it's too much control.
Or podcasts filled with smut.
Yes, that's where the money belongs.
Just smutty ass.
This is where the sponsorship money belongs, not CBS. Well, I connected some of that because looking up, with these stories on here and things, and I noticed, I looked at one on like the Lafayette Journal-Courier, and then I looked at one on the Indianapolis Star, and then I looked at the USA Today and found out they're all the same. They're all the same thing.
Yep.
Right.
And they don't even. It's the same template. I mean, they look the same. They don't even try to look different. It's owned by the same people.
But there's a certain. It's weird. There's a certain percentage of the population that just take it. You know, they don't. They see the lens and like, well, it's got to be true. It's the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that. I don't trust any of it.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Used to. Yeah. You know. I grew up watching Meet the Press. I'm a little bit of a political junkie.
Yeah.
You know, and so I find it interesting, and like that when Tim Russert did it, you know, that's who was big, and he would shoot from both sides.
Yeah,
and
that's the idea.
Now you look at those political talk shows, and it's very lopsided. And how the hell how do we get there? But again, it's because they're all owned by the same.
Saying the same.
At the end of the day, it's about the people hosting those shows. At the end of the day, it's also about their money. They gotta get in line, or they're not gonna be part of that animal.
That's right.
So it all goes back to the same. When you look at it all goes back to revenue at the end of the day, whether it's personal revenue or corporate revenue. At the end of the day, that's where it lands.
It's about money.
Trying to get it always to circle back to them. Just trying to always
right.
Circle
it's
back
wild, but there are so many people that just take it as
the gospel.
Yeah. You know, and if that's your channel, because for whatever reason, we all kind of grew up that way.
Yeah.
Because we only had 3 channels.
Yeah. You get up and actually turn the damn dial.
Oh, yeah. I was the remote control.
My dad would be like, hey, you need to get up and change that to channel 6.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
Me too.
Put it on you and hit it over to 59 or
right.
something.
Yeah. You didn't have all the choices, and now it's just it's wild.
And younger people don't give 2 shits about the news, so they ain't even on their radars.
Right, and I have really gotten that way in some regard because you get tired of seeing the same thing. I don't even have cable at my house anymore, or sadly I don't have it. I don't even watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I pay an independent guy for a weather forecast because that's my entire life in some regard revolves whether I'm growing produce or thinking about, how the market's going to be busy today. And we need to, we're looking at the weekend like, shit, it's going to snow.
Yeah.
How's that going to affect sales and how's it going to affect morning bake?
That's the news you need.
Yeah. Otherwise I don't care. He doesn't have ads. I pay him $15 a month. And I was driving here listening to him he does a little YouTube private where he posts his forecast.
Yeah.
But there's no ads and no trash, none of that. No, he doesn't sensationalize to get you to watch again because you pay to watch it to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
where I suspect the local weather forecasters have been talking about, oh man, the model runs yesterday that we were going to get the snowpocalypse was
Of
coming in.
course.
And they're
Yeah.
like, well,
Always.
it's went a little north now, you watch again the next day so
fear.
they can sell you
Yes.
so they can serve you up media ads on commercial. So I just don't do it. And now I don't watch any local news. I really get it from X. I follow, I guess there again, it goes back as I follow everybody because everybody's got an opinion. They try to tell you that it's an echo chamber, but and a lot of people, maybe it is, but I follow people I really can't believe at all, but you at least
you
see a
want to. That's
different
good.
perspective.
Yeah.
I don't
That's what you
believe what
want.
they're putting out.
Yeah.
And I read the news, you go read the news, but you're like, then I formulate my own opinion, which people have lost the ability to do in some regard. They can't.
That's
They
why I
can't
really
think
like
for themselves.
That's why I really liked Rush Limbaugh. I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh all the time.
Oh yeah.
Just because I'm like, I have like once in a great while there's something that I agree with him with, but the rest of it I'm just like,
Yeah.
I just want to hear what he's got going on and what he's talking about.
Just something different.
Yeah, it was
It's
something,
old school.
Yeah,
taking
old
in
school. And
both
I mean,
sides.
I could remember in my dad's '77 Chevy with an AM only radio. So I'm of a
Ooh,
certain
you are
age,
very
and you
political.
didn't have a lot of stuff to listen
okay.
to out in the boondocks. And Rush was always on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
That's what
even
listen
back
to.
then, I'm looking at this guy's just talking. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
but it's okay. I didn't just automatically turn the dial.
No.
It's
Yeah.
okay to hear a different opinion. But
Yes.
nowadays, people just lose their shit.
They can't look.
Yeah,
Can't
like
talk.
no, I can't see anything that's contrary to what I may or may not, my own personal opinion. I can't see something different.
My truth.
That's
My
that-
truth.
My truth.
My
the other guy,
truth.
the other guy that was always on the radio, man, as soon as you turn him on, he had like that monotone voice of, oh man, I can't remember his name. He was always,
Oh, gosh.
just not too long ago.
Was he
reported-
political guy?
I think was he NPR?
Entertaining?
Was he on NPR?
Oh, I know who you're talking about because he just did the
It was
God Made a
syndicated.
Farmer, that guy.
Yeah, he was syndicated.
Harvey?
Paul Harvey.
Oh, it's
Are you talking
Paul
about Paul
Harvey?
Harvey? Yes.
Damn.
Paul Harvey.
Oh,
yeah.
he was.
I did it.
Left field.
There you go. You caught up.
I
And
belong.
oh my God, Karen! Karen, you want a shirt?
Do you know
from-
Paul
what?
Harvey.
Thank you. I used to tell, because my maiden last name is Harvey, and my dad's from West Virginia, and I actually do have an uncle Paul.
Oh man.
But I would tell my friends that he was my uncle.
Good day. Good day.
Not necessarily totally untrue, but not totally true.
Karen, congratulations.
Thank you.
I never
Thank
knew
you
that. See, we
so
learn more
much.
things about her every episode.
Paul Harvey. But
Paul
kind
Harvey,
of
yeah.
the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to take my shirt off today.
No,
We're all
no.
good.
Stay clothed. We've got guests.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is a good time since we're a little over halfway through to talk about our sponsor, Wilson Farm Market.
It's pretty good.
Pretty tasty.
Fuck the Colonel.
Yay! We had a good time last time. Of course,
Yeah,
fry pies, the
I can
chicken.
go.
I've told the stories on here. The one of when I came down and was doing the radio and coming down for a remote. And some older ladies walking through the parking lot, and I'm like, "Hey there!" She's like, "Hi, good morning." I'm like, "So where'd you come from today? What you coming in for?" She's like, "I'm coming here for 2 rhubarb pies." I'm like, "Fantastic! Where'd you come in from today?" She's like, "I just drove here from Jeffersonville." He drove from Jeffersonville, Indiana to buy 2 pies and turned right around and went right back home. So yeah, I told people come from Michigan, Ohio, Illinois.
It is.
They make
It,
like
it
a
has became
Nice.
There were
Destination.
Michigan. There were Michigan plates in the parking lot when we were there last
that's
time.
what I'm saying. It's always there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. It's wild.
It is
I
wild.
didn't used to be that. It was that way a little bit when my parents, when I was a kid, you would
Yeah.
see, people be like, yeah, we come through, we stop whenever we're through. I think it's partly maybe, well, one big thing that really, I mean, as wild as the COVID was,
Yeah.
as, whatever your opinion is on that,
Yeah.
I got my own opinion.
It was no good.
that popped off, and I think social media, I capitalized on social media. I don't know that I capitalized. We were all on that shit show together, and you didn't know what to believe and not to
Yeah,
believe,
true.
and it was an absolute trash can. But I was trying to tell people, like, just relax. It's not that serious. Your local Walmart is up shit creek because they can only get so many trucks a day.
Yeah.
They can't just shit extra trucks. Everything's on a route, and if you guys are going in there stealing all the toilet paper, they just can't.
Yeah, they're not going to get another truck.
Everything's
Yeah.
very cyclical. Where I run the wheels off everything I owned, going and finding food, and we didn't run out. We had to regulate it a little bit, And one person said, and I guess that made the most sense to me. The lady said, and she was from Illinois and came to buy freaking chicken and beef because we couldn't find it locally, which is just obscene.
Wow.
And she said, I look for your posts every day because you're the lighthouse in a storm. I take your posts and it's a little calming. You shoot it straight, which was never my intention. I was just trying to, that was the marketing tool and the way of the world.
Yeah.
And that hit a little different. Like, holy shit, people are really like, because we were all in it together.
Yeah, of course.
And I'd go around with the health department. They come in, of course, somebody would call and complain because they would see a nose. And
That's right.
in the bakery, back there frying fry pies. And so here we come. And I was going to buy a mixer for the bakery.
Yes.
And the health department showed up the second time. And that was the day I threw the tables out of the front of the building because they flipped my switch, and I will be that's like messing with the IRS. There are certain things you just don't. You try not to
don't poke
the bear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like if you're a
The
bar,
nice
you
lady
don't
from
mess
the
with
health department
excise.
comes in, and I had put up Lexan before that was a thing. I'm thinking like I'm trying to think like everything in there. I have a responsibility, and you try to be as compliant as you can be.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think the way the health department would think. And I'm trying to think, okay, if I was a customer, what would help settle my nerves a little bit? We go to Lowe's and wipe out the Lexan and start hanging it from the ceiling and put it up in front, the registers. And people are looking at us like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm thinking this might be a thing. And then lo and behold, it turned into a thing.
It did. Yeah.
It turned in, then you couldn't even find plexiglass or Lexan to go put up because
Yep.
it was gone.
Yeah.
We had it and I had extra sheets and it's like, here comes the health department. And, we got a report of one of your employees being unmasked. And here I am wearing a neck gaiter from Amazon that probably said, don't tread on me, or was probably a skull or something just obnoxious because it was a little mocking in my regard.
Absolutely.
And I go to and I'm like, listen, so am I compliant? And she says, yes. And I said, look, everybody here is trying to be compliant. I'm not spitting in your eye.
Yeah.
You see my employees all have their masks on.
Yeah.
And you got to be like the good cop, bad cop. You should be like a small town cop. There are places that are completely not trying to comply.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy. I'm trying my best because one, I want customers to continue to come in here.
Sure.
Yep.
I may or may not agree with you, but here I am with my gator and I had a tag hanging on something. I went over and and the tag moved. I said, now for me, I'm a simple guy. But is this really doing anything?
Exactly.
Now I get that you are just following orders.
Yeah, one of them.
Which I get it, but damn. And that was the day I threw the tables out of the front of the building. And that was the end of the eating inside the building because I completely lost my shit. And it still kind of lives on.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of employee turnover. I lose some college kids, but everybody there, I really call them my COVID crew because they were there when my parents retired, and they have continued to work for me. I try to do right by the employees and the customers as I was during that time. And if you look at it, and you're like, I'm looking at the health inspector, and I'm like, I'm not really just trying to pull up and take a shit on your shoe here.
Yeah.
We're trying to do the right thing.
Trying. Meet me
what the
halfway.
hell?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That time really set off where we got on the radar.
Yeah.
And then I started paying attention to impressions and like, okay, well, what really is going on here? Which is, that's today's world. We're all sitting here with a phone, except for that guy over there who doesn't have his phone today. What the hell is going on? But honestly, that's just the way the world is.
Yeah.
As much as I said before this started, I'd like to throw my phone in the reservoir.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But you got
that really, it is wild to hear people say, and then we're talking before we knew what the hell exactly we were doing. We were getting courted like to go places. Like, will you come? I come from Marion every weekend. Will you come up? Will you open this in Marion?
Oh, yeah.
We come from Greenfield every weekend. Like, what? Wow, these people are coming.
Yeah, making the trip.
A little shell shocked. You don't really know, and then you kind of lose, and then you're like, holy, how many people do we touch? Which I try, I try to impress on the employees, like, hey, you don't know these people's story and you don't know where they came from. And we're out in the boondocks. We don't have a huge population center, although it's still Hamilton County. People are having to make the effort to drive here.
Yeah,
It's not
you
like-
have to be.
Absolutely.
You got to be driving here.
you have to make a conscious effort to drive and come see us.
Yes.
Whereas, when you're in town, you drive by 6 Walgreens, 4 Starbucks, a CV, you drive by the same thing replicated because it's of convenience. Now we get a little bit, I joke all the time. People get real in their feelings if we don't have chicken livers in the case. I get more hate about these godforsaken chicken livers. I'm telling you, I have actually been on social media and said, when I stop having chicken livers, it's because of the hate you're spilling. And I am screenshotting this and I'm going to tell everybody it's your fault. because of all the, but that goes back to, you do drive by 12 of the same thing. It's people want immediate gratification. And sometimes we just can't do that. People get extra pissed about chicken livers.
Wow.
And they're my favorite thing. If I were to walk back and looked at an entire stocked hot food case and there were chicken livers, I would get a single chicken liver out. And that's what I would eat.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Like, that's my favorite thing in there. It's not for not wanting it, but I have to, at the end of the day, we're looking at, okay, the fryers are running as hard as they can go.
Yeah.
And we have to cut something out. And if you ever went back and helped prep chicken livers, because they are fresh, they are just the absolute assiest thing to prep and get cleaned up. They're just hot garbage. That shit is, they taste so good, but they are a pain in the ass to get ready.
A lot of labor.
Yeah. Labor intense. Then they mess up the fryers because, you can't make a 40-pound batch. So then, that's why the chicken's so consistent, because then I'm real stringent on, we got to filter the grease. Everything's got a process. That's why it always looks the same, whether you're there first thing in the morning or at the end of the day. It's the same with cookies and stuff. And I joke I'm fluffy because I have to eat in there, which I do, but I bake. If I were to go in there, if you catch me in there actually like hardcore working, I would be baking.
You're in the bakery.
And I just grew up doing that.
Yeah.
I used to make all the angel foods, and then we taught somebody how to other people make it. I can't, I'm spread a little thin.
Yeah, you got a couple things to do.
Yeah. When we first started doing fry pies, I fried every single fry pie in the winter because I drove a damn school bus, and my parents were still, that was still their show.
Yeah.
But that's how far it has come. And it's really the customers, we try to, and word of mouth, because word of mouth is the best.
That's helpful.
That's
at
the end of the day, if somebody says, hey, their chicken is fire. I didn't see it on an ad on some wild ass podcast, but this guy tells his friend, this guy's telling his friend, man, I got that chicken. And that wasn't just because the guy put his logo here.
Yeah.
That shit was actually good.
Yep.
True.
And that's the best thing. And they, it is wild to come in on a Saturday and see people just stand in line. I wouldn't. I love the chicken, but I wouldn't stand.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But people stand in line.
They do.
And it is a wild thing. I never had any idea.
And I will say, if you go there and you stand in line, the line moves very quickly.
Yep.
It's moving rapidly.
The first time somebody comes in and they see like, holy hell, the checkout line is wrapped clear around past the bakery.
It's just for a second.
It's really not that bad. And once people stand, I try to tell the cashiers, it's a happy medium between being polite, carrying on a conversation, and trying to get people
True.
through.
Yeah. Know the business.
And sometimes, we go to people like, the cashier, I saw a review and they were like, wish the cashiers were a little more friendly. Well, come in during the week. They'll talk your damn ear off.
Yeah, they will.
If there's not a line.
They're real friendly.
Yeah.
They're just trying to keep it rolling.
Yeah. It's a weird, you try to balance it. We still have actual people that run registers as opposed to,
That's you scans.
as opposed to you doing the work at your local superstore.
And your place is big, but if it is full of people in line for chicken and in the aisles and soon, if you don't get them out of there, there isn't enough room to put people that are still trying to come into the building.
Right. It's parking.
There's no room.
And it's, we run out of carts. I used to have the big, I try to be frugal. I work every day. So I find clearance carts that auction. And for a long time we had used Walmart carts, which those things are freaking massive.
Yeah.
So they'd really trash can the aisles up. So then when Marsh went out of business, I was going to all the auctions trying to buy those little baby.
The half cart.
It's like a shopping basket with wheels.
Perfect
It's got a
size.
top and a lower, and those work better, even though people still they'll come up there and have the shit.
Oh, they
mounted.
stuff the living shit out of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we had a lady that had like 2 carts full. And she's like, yeah, I'm not lucky enough to live that close. So I come and stock up. Like, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We were there 10 after closing time, which some of the employees, the fastest they move is when the lights go out. But, like, damn, you guys do move faster than that. Holy shit. It's the Christmas miracle.
Wow.
What happened? You're like freaking sprinting out of here. Do you run marathons? Holy shit.
Yeah.
But, and I tell them to their face, I don't hide. You
don't hold back.
That's part of the family atmosphere, and it really truly is. And I have employees that say, "I'm a lifer. I'm not going anywhere."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like they were as scared about what was going on with the building as I was.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm telling them. Like, guys, I've always done you right. I told him when COVID started and shit was getting shut down, I said, listen, there's only one way this place is getting shut down, and they will drag me out of here and I will be cuffed up. And I've always tried to not go to jail, but that's the only way. We sell food, and I am as dependent on this place being open as you. I don't have some bank account sitting somewhere. If I could retire, I'd fucking retire.
Yeah.
That's just not happening. I'm going to retire when I'm walking with a walker.
There we go.
My dad is in Florida at the moment, was born in 48, but he was here this fall helping my brother grain farm. All summer long, I hustle him into hauling produce. That's really to help my mom out so she gets a reprieve, because I get it honest. So really I try to give my mom, it's like having a mini vacation. Mom,
Yeah.
I'm going to send dad to go get tomatoes. So you get a break.
God, thank you, son.
But you never really get away from it. And
Yeah.
that's part of I chose that coming back to, I made a conscious effort. My nephew's torn in this right now because here he is, he's graduated college and he's looking on all the websites for jobs and he's trying to figure out what the hell where do I go? And I said, man, I'd hate to be in your shoes trying to figure out what the hell, in this climate, where do you go and what do you do?
Sure.
But he's heard me preach from, when he was little. I chose happiness over money. I could have went a different route.
Yeah.
I had a job offer with Aldi for $50,000 in '99 with a car.
Oh, to be like a district manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my parents had a grocery store in Sheridan a long time ago. So I was banging on all those cylinders, and my major's hard enough that people came to us and looked for people coming out of the entrepreneurship program.
Yeah.
And I chose not to do that. And I tell people, like, I came home, drew a paycheck from my mom and dad, did farmers markets that were mine, which I started when I was in high school, worked a little bit at Meijer, and drove a school bus. And that's fine. That's what built me the way it is. When I say, I tell him, like, I chose happiness. Now, that wasn't my happiest time, but I look at doing farmers markets and growing and wholesaling produce and doing those things. That's where my heart was.
Yeah,
And so
you
everything
enjoy it.
else you had to fill in. And so now he's torn because he's heard me say that. So, I listened to him talk about all these jobs. So it's kind of built into him, and if you've ever, you guys are doing your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could still corporate up,
Sure.
but it's hard because then you get those constraints on you.
True.
You get the shackles put on that you have to follow in line and do things a certain way.
Yes.
And I think that's where we see, you see podcasts and independence going, and you're starting to see the resurgence of that. It's really coming back. Mm-hmm. I think even with X opening up where you didn't get trash canned if you had anything against the grain to say, you're seeing it. You're seeing that resurgence of, it goes back. It's okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to hear a different opinion. You may not necessarily agree with it. You don't have to lose your shit over it.
No, exactly.
You
Don't
don't
let
have
it ruin
to, you
your
don't
day,
have to scream
man.
and glue your hands to the road or do anything crazy.
It's just a sentence, it's an idea. It's not, not here to
you
ruin
know,
your
and,
day.
and I'm still flying my "Don't Tread on Me" flag at the market, and I've only had one person just get really exceptionally butthurt about it, and I wasn't there.
Oh,
and I
damn it.
said, "Damn, why does it happen?" Because it's not a political statement. It's just it's not a hell. Even the ACLU has taken up and said that it's not a political statement. Which I got a lot of opinions about the ACLU. I mean, they take up some really dumb shit, but for them to take that up. And that's what I would have said to the lady. Maybe you ought to just dig in a little bit. Stop. That's one that has like utter blinders on, tunnel vision, watching a very specific thing.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case. Everybody's, it's just wild. But this market, it has taken on its own beast. And that's what I say. The market has become bigger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really has taken on its own life form.
It's very special.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little overwhelming. When we were these big developers calling us and saying, "Hey, we want you to come here. I've got ground. Let's come walk ground. This is what, we've got plans in the works.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're doing." Even the county wants us to stay. The county's been in my corner. Sometimes I think people think maybe the county's not.
Okay.
I'm starting to be on a fence a little bit because, politicians politic, and they do toe the line a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I've been a hard and fast proponent as how are we, it's Hamilton County. It's not in the boondocks. There's a lot of people and a lot of, the county's affluent and the county has a lot of power. We're a donut county. I'm helping pay for the stadium down there, which
That's
don't get me started.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Don't
part of
bring
your
up the
chicken
Colts,
purchases,
James.
part of
Don't.
your chicken purchasers are helping Ursay pay for that building or the taxpayers. So
Don't get me
I
started.
would pay the 1% donut tax.
Hey,
Don't get me started. But honestly, and that's what I said, how are we just buckling down to what NDOT says? Why are we not talking about what the county needs?
Yeah.
You know, and that really, I have a 10-year-old at Hamilton Heights. Our road, and people don't know it, our road goes directly to Heights campus. You know, you dead ends at State Road 19, but to the left, to the north and to the south is Heights campus.
yeah.
Yep.
You know, and our very first kitchen table meeting with NDOT, my wife is not here. I told you she's not one to do that. She didn't grow up doing this. She,
Yes.
you know,
In the background.
You said, "Hey, you want to come in?" Absolutely not.
She sure let me know.
That
she
was a hard and fast no.
not interested.
Not
That's okay.
Not wanting it. You know,
That's all right.
I get thrown in. People were just showing up out of the blue to do interviews.
Yeah.
You know, they would
Oh,
show up,
yes.
they would call, and they'd be like, literally, I go work. If I'm not at the market, they would call in the summer and be like, "Hey, somebody's here to do an interview." I'm in a tractor.
I'm working.
You know, and I
That's
go do an
stuff to
interview,
do.
and I look like I've been rolling around in a mud hole. I've been at the farm, which is just a quarter mile west of the market.
That's it.
But I'm over there tending to vegetables, and I'd be like, okay, tell them tell them I'm on the other end, so I've got to go
Drive
make the
all
rounds
the way
back,
back.
get into a truck, and come.
Yes.
So I will be there. Tell them I'm coming, because I could not do it because I was getting hurt. And you know, in the beginning, they were focusing so much on eminent domain, which, you know, here I end up at the State House testifying in committee for an eminent domain bill. I'm the only one speaking in favor of it. And here is NDOT and AIM, which is some lobbyist group for cities and towns. I don't know what the hell it was. It was all lobbyists. Everything in there was, and I go how I am. I did take my hat off,
Nice.
put on a nice,
It's all right.
I'm a creature of habit. So I may have every color of this shirt.
Okay.
But I am fluffy, but I have 40 of them. But
Nice.
I got a new shirt out and I put
That's
my
your
pin in like I
courtwear.
do I'm just
Your court
creature of
shirt.
habit. Yeah. I go in my blue jeans and my square toes.
There we go.
And I go
Be
testify
real.
at hearing and tell my story. And it made it out of committee for the first time. Now politicians are going to politic. So it got kicked to another committee, which it should have went to the Senate floor and got heard. They knew that it would get traction. And that also is one of those things that if they put it on the floor and they asked me to go testify, which I told Senator Buck that I would go testify again if necessary.
Yeah.
And maybe I would put on a button shirt if it was in front of the entire Senate. I might put on like a button down shirt or something, maybe, because I have a few of those, I guess. But it got killed because if it got to the floor and got heard, then you're going to take politicians to task.
Yeah.
And
got
so
to
now
work.
your opinion is the value of a business is irrelevant. The state can just come in and take the property of the building and pay for that and tell you to get bent, that's the way the law is now.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to rest on my laurels, but that was a good media thing. You know, the media that caught traction. That's something people can
talk about.
They didn't want to talk about. You would do, you know how you've been in media. You would do a 10-minute interview and it turns into 30 seconds.
Sure, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I understand
60
that
seconds.
because more of that interview, I would talk about, I want to know in the event of an active shooter, a mass casualty, it may not even be a shooter. You know, a local school had a mass casualty incident in an adjoining county because some kids got some edibles, the good kind,
yeah.
and they were all having, and they were middle schoolers.
Oh,
so
great.
they were all ripped up, which,
Nice.
so they had to have like 11 ambulances show up because it was like 11 or 12 kids.
Whoa.
It doesn't have to be such a severe, that's funny now,
Yeah.
but they didn't know what the hell was happening,
Mm-hmm.
and when I would say, a mass casualty protocol, it may not necessarily be the worst kind. It could be something like that. But I ask, and that's when I say my wife is quiet. She absolutely went off her rocker in our informal kitchen table meeting with NDOT at my parents' house
Nice.
over our daughter being in school and how the hell if something happens, are they going to get there? And Ella has had seizures, she's had 2 seizures in her life. If we need to get her to a kids hospital, how the hell are we getting there if Hamilton Heights doesn't have direct access via 256th Street on 31?
Yeah.
How the hell are they getting there? every local grunt, which I say grunt, non-political position first responders. So you can't, chiefs, I understand if they come out and favor this. Again, it goes back to revenue.
Yeah.
I get it. And I have told them to their faces, I understand, the state police superintendent is local. I understand that is really, even though political, it's not, it is. And when at the end of the day, it is. Yeah. But the guys who are out here working shifts, the firemen, the deputies, the guys, and we take care of all those first responders. My brother was a fireman. They say, man, I can't believe they're closing this road off. It goes straight to the school. How the hell, if something bad happens, are we going to get here? And minutes matter.
It always seems like the engineers that don't ever have to actually physically be involved with the things they're making always want to mess shit up.
Right.
And don't ask the people around there what they really need, if it needs to be done or not.
And before we actually went live here, I said, their frequently asked questions are direct responses to all the questions I raised.
Scott Wilson's frequently asked questions.
Yeah, really, that's sort of like that
for Scott.
That guy is such a bastard. Up there. Why does he ask these questions? But I'm not going to go away. It was never. It was the idea of the exchange was bigger than the building. Losing access, it was never about the building.
No,
I'll have feelings the last day. We'll eventually lose the building, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and I'll have some feelings about that because 3 generations have walked those floors. I grew up in there. This is our 3rd remodel. When we did the first remodel, when it doubled the size of the building the first time, I was a kid. I got to ride my bike in the building in the winter.
What year was that? When was the second one?
In the middle 80s.
Okay.
And that's, the original building just had the big W on the roof, and then my parents doubled it.
Yeah.
And,
and it started as like a fruit stand, right?
It really started. I mean, if you walk in the front of the building, and even my aunt did not know we had it. We have the original refrigerator that my grandpa started the business with. That old fridge.
Yeah.
So he had eggs, and the home place is just a quarter mile to the west of the market on the Sheridan, on the Adams Township side of the road. He put a sign out, and I would have to think, and my aunt had to, that was before my time.
Yeah.
He had an egg layer operation. He had 10,000 hens. And he had Wilson's Egg Hotel, I think. I'd have to read the thing. And he played music in there. I get it honest. My grandpa died early when I was a kid, old enough that I can remember him and have fond memories. But, even to this day, I had somebody yesterday come in and say, I remember your grandpa. You remind me an awful lot of your grandpa. I'm like, well, thank you, because everybody says, my memories are obviously fond, but he lived right. But he played music in there, and he sold his eggs to an egg distributor, but he wanted to sell them on his own.
Yeah.
So with this refrigerator, it started, you come buy your dozen eggs and make change out of a tin.
Oh,
and that's how it started. And then I can remember very faint memories of the original building. It was the neighborhood hangout. And when my grandmother passed away and I saw, she had still kept records, and it would be like Sunny and 70, that $14.83 total sales, great day. Like, holy shit. They sold $14, and my grandmother thought this was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How times have changed. Now you hope your average purchase is that. You hope somebody, the target has changed, and obviously,
that's part of it.
That's part of it. But, it really is a multi-generation. I'll have feelings when we close that guy down and we lock it up the last day.
Yeah.
The stuff that's in that building now, my dad and I, we had an Amish crew do the remodel, but you try to cut corners and save money where you can. So they put up all the trim work. It was just white pine board. We went with a torch and burn it to get the grain and then shellac that stuff ourselves. Me and my dad. I have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that damn building.
Hell yeah.
That's why, as the owner, I guess, you put out a lot of fires and you learn you're a problem solver. That's what people call me. And, of all places, Ice-T, which ages me a certain way. People know him from Law and Order, but I know him as a gangster rapper because I'm a Gen Xer. When hardcore rap was getting ripped off shelves because it was
Cop Killer.
Cop Killer. That stuff was banned. They're pulling it off shelves at the local.
There goes the neighborhood.
At the local Karma, you couldn't go buy it in cassette. Because they were pulling it off.
That's right.
He put on there, as a boss, you are a problem solver. And you put out fires, and that's really what it is at the end of the day. And that's what I do at the market at the end of the day, and whether it's an employee problem, a customer problem, whether, yesterday I'm sharpening knives in the deli. They say, Scott, will you sharpen the knives? These things are dull as hell. They will hardly cut butter because we use, I'm like, yep, I'll sharpen them. Who's going to be the washer? Somebody's going to go wash and sanitize all these things. I'm drawing the line. I'm going to sharpen.
Yeah.
You need chainmail gloves when they're done because we're not doing any stitches today. So everybody needs to know because I got a suture kit in the office. We're not doing that workers' comp shit. I'm going to take you out. You're going to bite a belt, and I'm going to stitch up your fingers.
There we go. You're part of the family. Part of the family.
You got to take it. It's
no need for trouble.
I don't know how the hell we have rattled off this way, but it really is the market. It has gotten so much bigger than me, and it's a blessing that you never knew.
If you have to close it someday because of where it is, would you just move it to a different location then?
Yeah, and that
Maybe
was
that's
always
an idea.
been kind of the hang up. I wasn't going to let the family joke has always been that we should have rebuilt directly south. So that is my aunt and my dad on the ground just south where the buggies are and the extra gravel parking lot.
Yeah.
That's always been kind of the family joke of that's where we were going to go.
Okay.
You know, when we did this remodel, we opened up the first day and we were like, I'm coming from Cicero and and there's a little hill on 256 so you can see the roof line, but you couldn't see the parking lot. And we opened up that day and I was like, holy shit, look at all the cars.
Yeah, it's like
it's absolutely, and that was day one back in the day before we were even open year round. It was my brainchild to stay open year round. My parents said, they had no desire.
seasonal,
Yeah,
man.
it was still seasonal then. We
okay.
still closed. And my mom and dad were talking about going to Florida. And I said, we're losing employees going. And she would call and be like, hey, I saw that order you put in. I trimmed that shit down a little bit. That was too much. And then after the first winter, she was like, okay, so it wasn't horrible. We didn't really make money, but I didn't have to try and shit out all this money to restock the shelves in the spring.
Yeah.
So there was an upside to it. And then the next year
Absolutely.
we're like, okay. And we still, if the weather goes to absolute garbage, which we've been very blessed since my parents retired, we've closed a few days here and there.
Okay.
I wouldn't stop if we had 6 inches of snow and it was blowing 40 mile an hour, I wouldn't stop there either. So I understand that. And I'll just tell the employees like, okay, you'll get a text message like, we're not here today. It's just not
Just
worth
one
it.
day.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
But it really is. You come in on a Saturday in February and see the parking lot and you're like, oh my God, insane.
They, I think James had been there a long time ago, and we came over to do that video, and I told you like, well, we'll try to come over. I know it's Friday, but closer to 2.
And
I don't want to get
that was
in
the
the way.
one day I had gotten a temperature, which I don't really get sick.
Yeah.
And you got sick that day.
And I really think my daughter had flu B, and I don't think I had it. I think I probably still have an ear infection. I'm become anti-medicine. I'm really not. I just try not to take medicine.
Sure,
I
for
switch
things
gears
like that.
Yeah, I just have switched gears a little bit.
Same way.
Yeah, I make a conscious effort. Like it's weird. It's little things. Like now I've went back. I look at my grandmothers who lived to be healthy women in their 80s.
Yes.
That cooked with old-fashioned stuff. They didn't
Yeah.
use margarine and
Real butter.
Yeah. And I've
bacon
really
grease.
started to switch gears to that. Like again, somebody said, have you seen pictures in New York like in the 60s and everybody was well-dressed and slender and
yeah.
What happened? And you start tracking them.
Yeah. We're bigger than we used to be. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And what is it? And so it's all of those things. And it's just wild. I mean, wild. That's all I can say. It's wild. I go in there and I'm like, and every person, you don't realize how many people have heard your story or have seen a story or a broadcast or, read my hate messages on the sign. Whatever it is, they come in and they're like, awesome, you won. And I always tell people I won for now, but I don't count it as a win because I think the township needs an exchange.
Yeah.
But it is wild. We do these shows at, various shows where we take baked goods at the state fairgrounds. We did one at Grand Park. And it's gotten so, that my same nephew says, man, you're like Mr. Worldwide now. You can't go where people don't want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's never what I wanted. I didn't want people to know my face. That's the way my parents were.
Yeah, you want to be in the background.
I didn't want it.
Done.
That was never my intent was to somehow become a face. I didn't want to do that. There's a reason there's not my face on a logo and I'm not, we do some very few TV commercials that I'm going to probably not do any longer. And they're like, you want to be in them? No,
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Invested.
but it really has taken on its own thing.
It's huge. It's a big deal. People come from states away. I know we first got together too, and I was that you had told me a story that there used to be a couple like booths up front with some napkins, and people would come in there from other states and they would sit down there and wait. And then after a few minutes, they'd talk to the register. Excuse me, is someone going to come take our order?
Yeah, like
they thought it was a restaurant in the front.
Yeah. Do you not have
Yeah,
you know,
where's the menu?
Yeah.
You know?
And I'd be like, oh no, we don't do that. These
have to
seats
go-
are just out of convenience.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Now
Like,
you can sit your pretty ass
and
outside.
Right. And now
Yeah.
I still have, you know, and that's why I know we're still growing and getting new customers, because people, that'll be one of the things, whether it's on, you know, a Google message or a Facebook, but whatever it is, people say, hey, okay, so do you have a place to sit down? I've heard about your chicken. Like, no, but when it's warm, we put some picnic tables outside, you know,
Yeah.
you can come tailgate, but
and
no,
go
I
hang out.
wish we did. And that's, you know, big plans. I have a lot of ideas. You know, we have a lot of things we could add to the building, and we really have maximized our space the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, one of
Oh,
those
yeah,
things
absolutely.
would be add actual seating, you know, and have actual restrooms, so people wouldn't give me 1 stars because we don't have restrooms. And
Oh, just
like,
go piss outside.
like,
Who cares?
come on, man. Like, we're not, and
Have you had the chicken? Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
like, I get it.
Eat
I
while you're in
understand.
there.
It's not for not wanting to. It's
Yeah.
for the septic that was built in 1968.
Right.
And
Yeah,
when
I'm doing you a
you
favor.
start doing stuff as a business, it's the rules are different.
Yep.
And that was really our constraint when we were looking. We really didn't see moving across the road as a possibility, mainly because of sewer, because there was no sewer. But now it goes back. The county is. I meet with the sewer engineers on Monday to finalize the plans, because the county wants us to stay, and they knew that. So now there is going to be city sewer and water along that corridor. And that's where I go back
Nice.
that there will be a time when there will be an exchange there at some point. There's just no way that there won't be.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, if we were probably have always intended on staying there. I want to, because I want to move the kind of the farm aspect over there, because people don't know where stuff comes from. You know, and they don't see it firsthand.
Right.
You know, I have people that drive just by fluke, because all the road construction up there would be driving by the farm, and and it was all family. My nephews, we'd be out there sorting sweet corn. And they'd be like, "Why the hell is there a car sitting on the road?" Like, they've never seen this sweet corn harvester before. They've never
Yeah.
seen this green bean harvester, and they probably don't even know what the hell we're doing. They're
No.
trying to figure out what we're picking first.
Okay.
Because there's people like they don't. I mean, if you're from the city or town,
You have no
idea
No
what
idea.
what-
Yeah.
that looks like corn, but it's kind of short.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, it's
sweet corn.
green.
Yeah, it's great. We're like, what the hell are these guys
These are
doing?
beans.
But who the hell knows? I mean, we don't know where the future goes.
Yeah.
But it's
But
like
right
you
now-
don't know where your future goes. But I took a chance on you.
Yes, you did.
You
Thank
know,
you.
and customers take a chance on me and
Yes.
the brand that we've developed, and that's really what. I mean, that's just the core of America.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just basic human. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
You
Take
know,
a
and-
chance.
See how I tied that in? Like, I took a chance.
Beautiful. I like that. Well, yeah, I appreciate it, because I was telling the person that forgot his phone, and I know we're over the hour, but
Are we over? I knew.
No, no. Hey, oh, you pay for the. Hey, we'd be here all day.
Hey, I kind of thought he was getting the squirm. Like, he either needs to go pinch one off, or he's looking at the clock like, oh shit, we're running.
It's definitely a bathroom break, and try to find that phone.
Same way, I'm on a bathroom break.
But
I feel that.
I told him last night. I said I wanted, when I got on here, because I think when I asked for sponsorship, I said, so just how this even occurred was I was working at a radio station, and I did sales, and I at first was just selling like the TV portion, not the radio part. And so then I came over, and you bought a TV thing, but then I
Yep.
really want to do the radio ads. So then I was able to get into that, but it was because I wrote radio ads for you is why I even am here, to know that I like to write. I like to write funny things sometimes.
Sometimes.
you always got to fail everyone. I mean,
But yeah, you know, but you allowed me to. I mean, like I would tell people, like you're like, I was like, well, now what would you like in the ad, sir? And you're like, well, I don't know. You seem pretty creative. You'll
I
figure something out.
literally would say, I don't know, do something. And
you
you're
do
like,
it.
well, how
And then
crazy can I
tell me
go?
about
I'm
it.
like, whatever, let's do something. Let's talk about it.
You're like, I used to listen to Bob and Tom. I'm like, okay, so I know a bit how far I can go. And I would bring in stuff. I would just try to. I'm like, okay, there's no way he will ever.
I mean,
do
like,
this
let's
one.
do it.
It's like, that sounds good. I want that one. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, this
do
one?
it.
Okay. And then the best part was then going, and then the boss at the station coming in and be like, I think I heard one of yours today. I'm like, he pays for it, so you got a problem with it? You know, say, no
Like,
problem.
this
But
is
yeah,
what he wanted,
Thank
sir.
you. That's how I
Yeah,
learned
I mean,
to be a
you
better
have to
writer.
take a chance on. I mean, you
Thank
have to have bigger. It's vision. You have to have creative vision, and you all have a creative vision that is different.
Sure.
In some regard, you know, everybody has it. You have to know how to harness it.
Yes, yours is much more of a delicious way of doing things.
Nutritious.
But from where it came from to what it is,
Yeah.
it really is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's no bullshit. I mean, people drive from states away and stay all night down the street and come back the next day.
It's
nuts.
nuts.
Like it's Sweetwater up there and they're going to play guitars all weekend. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's like an adult Willy Wonka, as I say, but
Yeah.
for food, not some sort of.
Yep.
Yeah, if you can't come in
Dildo
our
thing.
building and find something to eat, I mean, honestly, I can't help you.
I just had a bag full of
I don't
three
know.
different
I don't know
cheeses.
how you could because we have produce. So if you're a vegetarian, we have that. We have.
There is everything.
Come in and ask for stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Scrapple.
Scrapple. What about
I didn't know.
Scrapple, man?
Somebody come in and
Pennsylvania.
yeah, I don't think I'd eat that, but we sell it.
Yeah.
And it goes back to people that maybe grew up in the East in Pennsylvania and I would say, well, I don't know. By God, let me go look.
Yeah.
Let's go look. Let's see
Bring
if
it
we can
in.
find it.
So you're willing to get things for people, and that's
Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
there's things where we look and like,
No
and
thanks.
you've got those few people that bought it, and you're like, yeah, but unfortunately, it was a business decision.
Yeah, I do have to ask, and we'll show you but what specifically is high temp cheese for? What is that for? Like pizza ovens, like 600. And,
No, low. So like for the deer hunters making their own summer sausage and stuff, that's the cheese that goes inside of it.
oh, okay.
And so like the pizza,
So it doesn't dissolve whenever
it doesn't
all-
just melt to nothing.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
I
and
wonder
that's
what
100%.
that was.
That's what it is.
I
So if
thought
you're
maybe it
making
was a.
summer sausage, like
Yeah,
the
you bite
pizza
into those
burgers, which
sticks.
are my favorite thing from Yoder's.
Oh,
that we have,
that's
the
what I
pizza
buy,
burger. tell you,
too.
The pizza burger.
Yes.
That's what people are like, is that really a pizza burger? Like, no, because it has high temp mozzarella in it, the cheese is infused as they grind it up and then it's in a patty. I just had them yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So that's
They're
that's
fantastic.
kind of the
Dude,
purpose
pizza
of it.
burgers,
And
so
that's
good.
I don't deer hunt.
Yeah.
I don't,
Well, you
there
don't
again,
have-
people probably
I think you
paint
have
me.
the time
People
to
probably
deer hunt.
paint me a certain way that I'm a hunter. Not. I mean, I don't have time for it.
No.
But that's one of those things where people are like, "Hey, can you get high temp cheese?" And I'm like, "What the hell is high temp cheese?" So I hit the distributor and like, "Hey, do you know what high temp?" They're like, "Oh yeah." Like, okay, well, let's do it.
Cool. I love it. Well, it's been a ton of fun. I'm sorry we don't have
I don't
more
know
time.
about that, but
Oh yes, it has. It's been great. So
the voices tell me I'm a good time, but they're in my head.
No. I think we've had a great time.
Voice outside is doing all right too.
We appreciate the sponsorship, and you keep shit kicking down there on 31, and I'll keep shit kicking over here.
There you go. We all got to do our thing.
Yeah.
Usually the first time we have somebody on, we know we're going to have them on another time. It's just like the introduction, and the next time
It's like the precursor. It's
Exactly.
like the prelude.
We will have you on again sometime. In the summer
I'll
when you're
just
not busy.
apologize in advance.
When you're in the summer when you're bored and you're sitting around your pool and you're bored.
Oh yeah, I'm always got my feet up. I
know.
do have pool boots that I've retired from the farm that I actually cut the top off of. That's a real thing. I can
boots.
bring them if it's warmer.
Hell yeah, man.
They are these square toes, except they get destroyed. And I just took my pocket knife and cut the barrel off.
Yeah.
So I can slip in and out of them. So
Hell yeah.
that's a real thing. I
Yeah.
think I could sell them.
Good Lord.
I think it's a thing.
See, now bringing this up at the end, now you got to come.
I don't. I mean, how do you
Gotta
not?
come back.
And it's a thing. I legitimately that is a real thing. And
Don't steal it. He's got lawyers. He has.
I'm
tons of
trademark. I
lawyers.
got to go get trademarks done
Yes.
right now.
Now, but
Now.
don't even try. He's got you. Kick your ass, man. Well done. Well, we'll definitely have you back. Maybe we'll have to
all
come
right.
over there and just like follow you live.
Just be on a
'cause you're
I know
busy.
they told me all the
We're out
employees
here
like
with Scott.
if
Yeah.
if those people are coming back in here to do that again, you need to be here. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
and I said, oh really? And they're like, yeah, that. And I'm like, have you guys not met me? They're like just a different version of me. They were just doing their own thing. I told them to do that, and they're like, well, you really need to be here for that. I'm like, well, I didn't plan on being sick that day. Sorry.
Big thanks to it's Heidi, right? Is that her name? It's
My
Heidi.
sister-in-law, Heidi.
She was great.
Yes. She was the one because no one would. I said, I just want to ask you some questions for a thing.
I know.
I go, here's a shirt. You can have it. He sponsors my thing. I'm not some weirdo.
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in here. And no.
They were very, yeah. They're like me. They just want to, kind of the same way.
Yeah,
Everybody there,
and I
they
get
just don't
that.
want to.
That
Like
was
they
okay.
always like, hey, somebody's on the phone for you. Go talk to them, or hey, somebody's here to talk to you. You need to
Yeah.
go. Like we'll go talk to them. No, they all try to avoid it.
As long as you're okay with the video, I think we eventually might have Heidi come be on here because she was such a good sport. Because I think she had a few things she could probably talk about as well.
She is the baby of my wife's family, and I have taken it as my job to give her all the grief that they stopped
So
babying her.
sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. She
I
could
mean,
tell some
I
other stories.
I honestly, out of anybody I poured on hard to, she's the one. So
Toughed
she-
her up.
Yeah, it's tough. Made her thick skinned.
Yeah, she was great the whole way she played along. It was a lot of fun.
Well,
She had
good.
fun.
See,
Yeah.
because I've really not heard any of it. So other than you really need to be here if somebody's here doing that.
And we were very respectful. We tried to stay out of people's way.
Yeah, it was just more nobody wants to talk.
But he saw we were shooting. I think we were doing the high temp cheese thing, and there was these older people came in. He's like this big guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then the wife, the little old lady's like, "Well, what's going on up here?" And the guy's like,
I
"Looks like one of them
he's one of them
TikTokers."
TikToker people. or something.
that is awesome.
And they probably don't even have permission from the
Yeah, that's what,
Wilson
he said.
family.
That's what he said. He goes, I don't even think he's got permission to be over doing
That
that
is
kind of
hilarious.
stuff. So I walked past him. I was like, no, man, I'm one of the guys on the crew. It was like, he sponsors our show and everything and all this. Oh, he's got a show. Where's it at? I need to check. They instantly just changed.
He's
the
totally
mind,
fine with it.
Like, no, he has permission. Scott told him he could do this, and it was like, oh, okay. And then everybody was all hunky
Then
dory.
it was all fine.
We
Yeah.
didn't bother any customers. So
Honestly, my customers are riots. That's what I mean. They,
Oh,
Easy
yeah.
going people.
I had a lot of interactions just with random ass people.
yeah,
It was
they
actually a good
are.
time.
I mean,
it's fun.
It is awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks again. We'll have you back. We appreciate the sponsorship. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It allows me to keep writing weird dick jokes and all that kind of stuff. It's great. So have a great weekend.
Don't forget the giveaway.
Don't forget the giveaways. Follow us on the various social medias and be looking for that Facebook video probably tomorrow. I hope. He sees it. But I think we'll be fine. And as we always leave you, I want to remind you to treat other people as you want to be treated. Lighten the hell up and go make somebody laugh today.